and welcome to the show. I am Judy Ballou, and this is Dishing It Up, and I'm excited to have back with me today someone that was with me a couple of years ago already, Mr. Joe Gidman from Van Gogh's Eatery. So, hey. Joe, welcome back.
Hey, Judy. How are you doing
I
today?
am good. So good to have you back. Tell me what's on the menu today.
So I have a restaurant, Van Gogh's Eatery, and it is a Dutch-inspired restaurant. And by Dutch, I don't mean like Pennsylvania Dutch. We're talking more like Amsterdam Dutch, so the Netherlands.
Okay.
And we do a lot of breakfast dishes, but we also do lunch and dinner. And since it's kind of getting into cold weather season, what we're preparing today is what's called snert, which is a traditional Dutch split pea soup.
Snert.
Snert.
Okay.
Yep. It looks a little bit like baby food, but it's super comforting, very, very flavorful. If anybody has an old Dutch grandma, what they'd call an oma, they probably might remember something like this from their childhood.
Oh, fun.
And the best snerts, they say you can stick a spoon in it and it'll stand up straight.
Okay.
So it's kind of not quite a soup. It's almost like a porridge or a mash or something like that.
Good. All right. Makes us to get started on this. Before we do, we're going to take a short break and put the list of ingredients up on your screen, and we'll be right back to get started cooking with Joe. All right, welcome back to the show. Again, we've got Joe Gidman here, who's owner and executive chef of Van Gogh's Eatery on East Commercial Street. So what are we going to start with today?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about just making soups in general.
All right.
And I know everybody really loves more of that like next day flavor. And so whenever I make a soup, you know, a lot of people just cut everything up, throw it in, let it boil forever. But part of what gets that flavor is really getting everything to kind of blend and all of that to come out at once. So I always kind of make more of a concentrate at first and then add my water later. So you can see I've actually got a little bit of water simmering in here. And I already put some salt and pepper, and I'm gonna put some of my base stuff. So I've got a chicken bouillon here, and this is actually a gluten-free. So this dish is gluten and dairy-free. When you see it at the end, it has a very creamy texture, so you may think there's a bunch of butter and all that in there, but it doesn't. And a lot of bouillons will have hidden ingredients in it, so if you do have a dairy or a gluten allergy or anything like that, just look at your ingredients. They're definitely out there.
Okay, I haven't seen this before in a
this brand is called Miners. We get it from one of our grocers, but I'm sure you can find it just about anywhere. There's lots of versions like that.
Great.
So, and on this soup, depending on how big a batch you want to make, it's real easy. Basically, all your ingredients are kind of a 1-to-3 ratio. So everything's just, you know, if you have 1 onion, 1 carrot, 1 celery, 1 potato, 1 cup of split pea soup, you would add 3 times that amount of water in the end. So we're going to just put in 1 teaspoon right now of our chicken bouillon and get that in there. And I am just kind of getting a little base flavor. I'm going to use this spoon here. And you don't need a whole lot of water, just a very, very little bit of water, because all we're going to do is start putting our vegetables in and letting them kind of start simmering and cooking down just a little bit. So real simple, and you can do this with any kind of soup you do.
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but it makes perfect sense to start small and add 2 instead of everything in the pot at one time.
You cut that time, because when you add the water first and then just throw everything in, you got to wait for it to cook. You got to wait for everything to start breaking down, so you can do that in the beginning. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just gonna, it's a real simple recipe. I'm gonna start right now. We'll just cut some onions and get that started. And you can just dice them up however you want to do them. These will break down in the soup pretty much by the end. And some people don't like onions, so if you like a lot of onions, cut them big. If you don't like onions, cut them really, really small.
I like onions cooked.
Yeah, and if you really don't like onions, get a blender and just puree them, because most people, if they don't see the onion, they're not even worried about it.
Good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this over here out of the way a little bit.
So we'll start throwing some of that stuff in, and we'll just kind of let it start simmering down. You can kind of have it at a medium-high heat. And we're going to have some onion. We'll put a little bit of celery, a little bit of carrot. And I kind of start with these 3 vegetables first because the 3 of them together actually create a really, really nice base. And we are going to boil for a while with the split peas and the potatoes, but we really want a base that's going to flavor all of this first.
All right.
So we just kind of start with that. And you just kind of let it simmer till it starts breaking down. It might take, you know, maybe about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So, so we'll let that go for a little bit. Have you ever been to the restaurant?
I have not been to Van Gogh's. I know you have another restaurant downtown that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Cafe Cusco.
Cafe Cusco.
Yeah, so 2 totally different worlds. One
Right.
is actually Peruvian, South American inspired, and then this is Dutch, Netherlands inspired.
Right.
And our specialty, I was on the show last time and made our Dutch pancakes,
Yes, you
which
did.
are like a crepe, but they're flat and everything's on top. And they're really good at breakfast, but you can eat them anytime
They were
of
delightful.
the day.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can get them with meat and sauces, or you can have ice cream and chocolate syrup and sprinkles and fruit, all of that on there. So, so yeah, a lot of options. But we do lunch and dinner, and super popular on Saturday and Sunday mornings for breakfast. And we have mimosas and a coffee bar and all that kind of stuff.
Wonderful. And
So,
where's it located?
it's on 334 East Commercial Street, or in Springfield, everyone calls it C Street, historic C
yes.
Street. Yeah. So great little district, lots of probably some of the oldest buildings in architecture in the city, and a lot of small business owners. If you're into the shop small, shop
Yes.
local, that's definitely the part of the city.
And some
to do
independent
that.
shops that are very unique.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Really
We got
some
a
fun
great
things.
little honey shop up there, and the lady who owns that actually has her own beehives, and so she gets her own honey, and she actually puts that honey together and makes products out of it.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. So really, really good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what are the total hours at Van Gogh's?
So we're open 7 days a week, and then Sundays we're just open 8 to 2, and then the rest of the week we open up at 10 a.m. and we go till 9 p.m. And then on Saturdays we also open at 8 a.m. that morning for breakfast as well.
Well, I
Yep.
promise to get down there very
Yep.
soon for breakfast.
Yep. Okay. So we've got this kind of. You can see it's cooking down. It's already simmering. I'm going to use this because my handle's a little hot. And then at this point is when you would probably want to start adding in some of your other ingredients.
Okay.
So we've got our potatoes. Same thing. You'll just kind of chop them up. All of this is going to break down into a very smooth and creamy texture. So the smaller that you can get things chopped up, kind of the better. And then we'll throw that in there. We're not going to chop all these potatoes up right now, but you get what I'm saying. And then, again, we'll break this down just a little bit more. And then, of course, we have our meats.
Okay.
And traditionally, you always have some sort of pork in there. But I'll explain a little bit about all the differences because they're a little bit different than
Okay.
what we think of as bacon here in the United States.
Okay.
So-
And I also admitted to you, I've never tried split pea soup. Anything specific with peas? It's just, I've never even purchased them. That's how they come?
No, yep, they come just like
They're
that.
ready to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, they're going to cook for a while. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'll get that
It'll be
in.
a little crunchy treat if you try them right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass on that.
Okay.
Okay, so this has a few more minutes to go before
Yep.
we
Before
add
we
any other
start
things.
adding everything else.
Okay,
Yep. Yep.
all right.
All right.
Looks like a great time for a break. We will take a short break and we'll be right back with you. Welcome back to the show. Joe, remind us where we are in the pot.
So right now we kind of have more of a concentrate. So we have all of our vegetables all cooking with just a little bit of water. And the reason we're doing this is so that once we add the water and let everything cook, you're going to actually have that next day flavor right on that first day. So
Okay.
that's what we got going on right now. Now, like I said, this recipe is definitely can be vegan or it can be gluten-free and dairy-free. It can be vegan if you don't want to add any of the pork or the bacon, although if you've had your Oma's Dutch split pea soup, then it always has
It had it.
that flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Now, bacon or pork comes in so many different forms in the Netherlands. We're used to kind of a crispy country style bacon. You very rarely find that over there.
Okay.
So I have a few examples here right now. This is just, a traditional ham. And then over here, this is our pork loin bacon, which is actually much more common in the Netherlands, or if you've been to England, it's what they call like a rasher. And then this is rookworst, which is the Dutch smoked sausage. So most people are familiar with a Polish style, like a kielbasa.
Sure.
Very, very similar to a kielbasa, a little bit more mild in spices, not as strong, and usually smoked with like an applewood or a hickory, something like that.
And the soup has all three meats in it?
It can, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it can have all three. It can have just one. Every recipe is a little bit different. In the Netherlands, it's almost 100% of the time served at the end with the rookworst. So you can see here on this plating, this is very traditional. If you go get your snert in the Netherlands or in Amsterdam, you're going to end up with a piece of rookworst on top like that.
I just love the name snert.
Snert, yeah. That's the short form. It's actually, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's Ernstfernster means split pea soup in Dutch, but they shorten it up for snert.
Okay. And how did you get started with this concept?
So actually, I was a foreign exchange student, and I became a foreign exchange student because of other foreign exchange students. So when I was in college, I had there was a group of foreign exchange students that had come over from the Netherlands, and I was just very enthralled by their way of thinking and their talking and anything I could learn about their culture, that I decided at that point that I was going to go to their school. So I applied and ended up going over and studying in Rotterdam, which is it's one of the largest cities over there. It's a very, very modern city. And spent a year, and then...
And what age was that?
I was about 19 years old, so I was pretty young in college and still new, and did the backpack around Europe, and kind of, I don't know, slept in a lot of train stations and park benches, and walked around with a backpack and a big, piece of bread, and just was one of those kids traveling around the world. And but since then, I've kind of developed a very close network of friends still there. I like to go back every few years, and I go to the same town, and I eat at the same restaurants, and I visit the same people, so I have kind of my own little home away from home there. So that's kind of what started the influence. And then I had friends there, and we would make pancakes and do American pancakes and Dutch pancakes and have pancake parties, and that's where my concept for the restaurant came together.
Interesting.
And my degree in college was actually in art, so hence we have Van Goghs.
Van Goghs. Did not know where that came from.
So that's how it came to be. I'm a big supporter and believer in exchange programs and just people. I feel like there's a sense of almost cultural appropriation there that actually binds us all together when we learn to love and appreciate things outside of our own culture and our own community. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
And what other types of things are on the menu?
So of course we do our Dutch pancakes. We also do a series of what's called stampots, which are kind of like these mashed potato dishes where we cook down meats and sauerkraut and vegetables, and then blend them and puree them with kind of a gold potato. It makes a thick mashed potato. We do one with carrots that ends up bright orange, and then there's more meats and gravies, or we have vegan versions with vegetables all poured on top. And that's also a very, very traditional Dutch dish that goes all the way back to like medieval times. And then a lot of, Dutch meatballs and of course all our breakfast stuff. We do what's called a liege waffle, which is more of a pastry style waffle that has pearl sugar baked inside of it and fruit on top, and Dutch French toast and all sorts of we have a meat scramble and a veggie scramble called the oma and the opa, which are kind of, again, like your grandma and your grandpa, things like that. So there's a wide variety of from breakfast to dinner items there. And seafood, we've got our mussels and a lot of smoked fish dishes that are very strong smoked fish flavor, very Dutch. Lots of kind of pickled flavors and things like that. So if you like that, you'll love our mackerel and our herring and our smoked salmon, things like that too.
That's great. How long's the restaurant been there?
So 4 years. It's been, we're in our 4th year. Of course, 2 of those years have been pandemic years.
Right. Sorry.
So been very, very interesting in that sense, but we've developed a great following, and we have a great community. And before we keep going, real quick, now's about the time. Everything's, you see, we don't want to burn it, so we don't want our liquid out. So this is about the time that I would actually go ahead and add the water. And like I said, so if it's one of everything, figure about 3 cups of water, and Or actually, we'll double this because I have 2 cups of split peas here, so we would add another 3 cups.
Okay.
And then put in your split peas. You want to kind of stir it all around. And this is definitely a salt and pepper to taste flavor. I would add a little bit in, and keep in mind though that your pork items are kind of salty.
Right.
So you would add a little bit just to make sure that flavor is in the soup, but you definitely want to taste it at the end. And this will probably go at least another hour. You can turn it, once it gets to a boil, you can flip it down onto a simmer and then kind of walk away. It's a great crock pot dish. If you really want to forget about it, you can just put it in a crock pot, put it on kind of a medium to low, and go, I don't know, clean your house or sit outside with a glass. I don't clean my house. I sit outside with a glass of wine.
Got it. Well, that sounds much
or
better.
Coffee, wine after 5.
Right.
But yeah, you can just let it simmer all day, and every so often come in and give it a stir, and then it's so comforting and smooth. You're kind of looking for, it is like a baby food texture. So at the end, it'll have this kind of creaminess.
And do you actually do the emulsifying with it, or?
No, it'll do it on its own.
Cooks down to that.
Yeah, as long as you have it on a slow simmer and let it sit for a while. That's why I'm saying, like, you'd look at it and think this is full of butter, but it's not. It's not. It's just everything broken down
just healthy
on its
liquids
own.
And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
And
yeah.
does the restaurant do any catering outside? Catering?
We do. Yeah, we do. We haven't done as much the last couple of years just because booking parties and all that, pandemic's been interesting on the catering business and the number of people. But we certainly do. And we have a website. It's www.vangoseatery.com. And eatery is E-E-T-E-R-I-E. So it's a Dutch spelling. But if you just Google us, you'll find it. And you can message us straight from there. You can Facebook us and send us messages. And yeah, we work with small groups up to a few hundred people.
Oh, great.
For sure. Yeah.
Great. Is there room at the restaurant itself for larger groups, or no?
We do have a space in the back. It's not private, but we this actually yesterday, Sunday, we had a group of 30 back there. So yeah. So we can do that for sure.
Family gathering, especially
Lots
right now.
of families. Yeah, our tables are set up to basically you can be a 2-top or suddenly you become a 12-top. So
or a 30-top.
Or a 30-top. So we do a lot of moving tables around. It's a little bit of a big open dining room. Feels a little bit more like your kind of an open air outside patio. Lots of lights, big windows, a lot of plants inside.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite thing on the menu? If you're going to eat for yourself, any one item, what?
I'm a simple breakfast person, and so I like our veggie scramble, or what we call breakfast bouncer, or in Dutch it's an uitsmijtje, which is basically toast with eggs and cheese and ham on top, and then they'll put some fresh veggies and what's called our friet sauce, which is like a Dutch mayonnaise-based sauce. But I kind of like that. It's pretty simple.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Lots of good things over there.
Yep.
Okay, the magic of TV. Normally we would cut and come back and watch us cook some more.
Yeah. We could sit here for a couple hours, or we could magically just turn it in.
Turn it into this.
To that, yeah.
Voila.
That was quick and easy.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to take another short break. Come back and then do taste testing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your first
My first split pea soup.
split pea soup.
We'll
There
be
you go.
right back. Okay, we're back. Joe, it's ready.
All right.
Soup is ready.
Let's dish you up some. Now it's real hot, so you're going to want to blow on it just a little bit. I'm just going to put a little so that way it can cool off just a little quicker. And I'm going to let you grab your piece of rookworst.
Okay.
Yep.
Rookworst.
Rookworst, yep.
Right.
And then we'll hand that to you.
Let that cool just a second here.
Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit myself.
We've got just a couple of minutes left. Please tell our viewers again the address of the restaurant, your website,
it's,
your Facebook.
334 East Commercial Street, or if you're local, Historic C Street. And you'll find us right across from the Farmers Market Pavilion. Front of the building is all blue. It says Van Gogh's Eatery across the front. Pretty easy. Yep. And our Facebook page, you can find us on there. And then our website is www.vangoseatery.com. And the eatery is spelt kind of in a Dutch version, so you might have to Google it. Yep. Yep, and we are 7 days a week. You can get breakfast all day long. You can actually get lunch and dinner all day long. So we serve the full menu all day.
Great.
So if you want one of our fisherman's pots at 8 a.m. in the morning, go at it.
Okay.
Yep,
Sounds
absolutely.
good.
And if you want French toast at 8 o'clock at night, that's kind of when I like to eat breakfast anyways.
A lot of people do, yes.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
Well, I want to also remind our viewers that to visit a Metro Appliances and More store near you, you can go to metroappliancesandmore.com to find one of our 8 locations across the Midwest. And also go to mc22.net, which will tell you when this show and the other shows that we filmed with our great chefs here in Springfield will be airing. So glad to have you back again, and I know you're coming back to visit us one more time.
Oh
soon.
yeah, absolutely. And you've remodeled since the last time I was here, so it's very much more bright, fresh, a lot more appliances.
Thank you.
So I'm impressed. I think I was looking around to see what I want.
All right.
So, yeah.
Thank you for that plug.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
A
Let's
brand new
dive
store
in.
here.
This is your first time. Let's see what you
my
think
first
of it.
split pea.
Yeah.
And it's a win.
See how smooth it is?
One of the things I would never have ordered,
Yeah.
but it's delicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We have people come back all the time and they crave this. So.
Delicious.
Yep.
Okay. I recommend it highly. Go see Van Gogh's Eatery on C Street. Thanks so much for joining us, and hope you join us again next week. Thank you. Cheers.
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 Yep. Dutch, you say lekker.
Lekker?
Lekker.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
heel
learning so
lekker.
much
Yep.
today.